What up, G Life? It is your boy M Shadow back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, check out the playlist. The playlist on top of my videos and no photos makes the video you're looking for a lot easier. Whether it's just reactions, the G series, all that good stuff, you know, the known folders. Don't forget to check out my second channel, M.O.D Society, M.O.D, where we talk about stuff outside of the streets. Now, what I wanted to talk about was a question I was asked, and actually, I was having a debate with, one of my subscribers. Who was replying to another, disagreement I was having with another subscriber. And in that comment, he decided to jump on board. And it was about, gang members recruiting in young people into gangs, right? That it's sad that these old-ass, individuals manipulate these youngsters and use them, for their self purposes and whoop-de wah. And it's always funny because people that are not in gangs themselves always act like they know, how it really goes, right? Because what they were talking was straight nonsense. But see, they were not going to see it in that way because, they believe whatever the TV says. Now, how it normally works, and, explaining the picture in the background, a while back ago, they had did a documentary, right, about Chucky from Tortilla Flats, Chucky and Woody, I think, from Tortilla Flats, right? These young kids, right, like 9 or 10 years old or 12 years old or something like that, but they were youngsters, right? And, oh, man, they're so young, they're babies, how could they woo-de-woo? What people don't understand is that's the age normally when individuals get into these gangs, right? And how normally it works is that old guys don't go into people's houses and take these kids and, make them join gangs or stuff like that. Normally individuals come into the gangs because they mingle with their homeboys or their friends, right? And their friends are already a part of that neighborhood, and it's never done by older, individuals. Let's say if it was an 11th grader and the homie was a 9th grader and, they went to school together, they hanged out and then, they recruited. That's how pretty much it goes. It's just a cycle. You know what I mean? Because the youngsters hang out in the neighborhood. There's a lot of individuals. We're talking about hundreds of members, right? And you guys don't all hang out at once. You know what I mean? You'll have a bunch of homies over here. You have homies over there, homies over here, homies over there. But not everyone is hanging out together, right? You have batches of homies in different spots, right? And it's normally broken up in between, your crowd or a clique. You know what I mean? Your clique will most likely be your crowd, right? Your homeboys. The ones that you grew up with, right? Like all of you guys are homies and you guys will back all of each other up, but you have your set of homies in which you hang out with. These are your road dogs, your doggy dogs, the ones, if anything happened to you, you're going to go to these homies, for backup first before anybody else, I mean, you have the option of anybody else, but you have already a set of homies in which are your partners, in the neighborhood, you're most likely off on the same cliques and stuff like that. And that's how it is. The youngsters hang out with the youngsters, OGs are kicking with the OGs. I mean, once in a while you get crowds mingling with each other and stuff like that, but normally that's pretty much how it goes with groups gathering with each other. So if you pay attention to that documentary and you look at all the homies that are hanging around with Chucky and Woody and all that, they're all like about 14, 15 years old themselves, bro. You don't see no old guys in that damn documentary at all. You see and by this point, when this documentary was filmed, Tortilla Flats had already veteranos in their barrio. You know what I mean? But you don't see them on here because the youngsters hang out with the youngsters. You know what I mean? So when individuals that young, are being brought into gangs, not because they're being manipulated by older people, their homies are the ones that, are all interacting together and they're roughly all the same age. You know what I mean? And they're running around and doing their thing. You know what I mean? The OGs just give them fools like lecha and, how to carry themselves, but they're not, behind them and telling them what to do and stuff like that. Homies are just, running amok on their own. Unless if they come for some advice or some shit like that. But older homies are not behind them or rolling with them and stuff like that. They're not doing that. They already did their thing. You get what I'm saying? That's how it rolls. So when people be like, these old guys, they get a life instead of manipulate young people, what are you talking about? Ain't no older homies out there manipulating anybody. What are you guys talking about? They're all in the same age group, bro. You know, they're doing what to do, bro. Ain't nobody telling them what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing, bro. They're just doing what they feel like they have to do or what they want to do. You know what I mean? They're not your kids, well, to be, wondering what they're doing or what, what's up. If anything, instead of wondering, why don't the older homies put them up, be behind them and everything like that, where the parents at? Don't bring up the OGs. Where the parents at? Talking about the old G's for. But that's what I'm getting to. People don't understand what I'm talking about when I talk about neighborhoods and how to fix the problem and stuff like that. They always want to tackle problems that have nothing to do with nothing and focus in on that, like if it's gonna make a difference. The reason why it's 2023 and nothing has changed. Because people keep thinking, you think these sayings that people think, about these, low life and you're going to die and these old guys need to get a life, need to get a job, these old fools. These sayings have been around since these neighborhoods have began in the 1800s when these neighborhoods first started or the first old school vitals had started. People been saying these things and looking at these individuals this way, and making comments and jabs like this, and that, and what they should focus on. And people have focused in on that. You can tell by all the sweeps that they do and everything like that. And guess what? It doesn't fix the problem. I wonder why. Could it be that these neighborhoods really have a grasp on the neighborhoods like that? Or could it be just that individuals ain't listening and really don't want to tackle the real problem? Ignorance. Could that not be what's the actual problem? And I think this neighborhood has so much power that has a grip on the territory like that. Or people just don't want to look in the mirror and focus in on what's really going on. You get what I'm saying? These older guys ain't right there, waiting for kids to be walking home from school and be like, hey, kid, come here. Hey, I got candy, come here. They're not doing that, bro. An older homie, he has, feels like he's more important. He's got more important shit to do. And he feels like his neighborhood's, he's done sacrificed a lot for the neighborhood. He's put in his work. He puts his neighborhood on a high, pedestal. You know what I mean? So he's not going to be begging individuals to be join his neighborhood. He's going to be like, nah, fuck. They got to want to be from the hood. I ain't going to be right there trying to convince people. How lame is that? Trying to convince somebody to be from your neighborhood. They need to come and, want to be, you know what I mean? Maybe I ain't going to be begging people to be from my hood. How dumb is that? That's how they see it, bro. So they don't got time to be out there and, trying to convince anybody of anything. You know what I mean? The youngsters are the ones that be recruiting their friends and stuff like that and keeping the ball moving. The OGs are doing their thing, you know what I mean? With homies roughly around their age range. And that's pretty much how it's broken down into in between crowds. That's, I mean, people should think it's common sense. These neighborhoods are about, 80 to 300 members. You will see 80 to 300 guys in the street, but you don't. You see maybe 10, 15, 20 here, 10, 15, 20 by the park, 10, 15, 20 by the alley, 10, 15, 20 by these apartments. You see them like that, broken up into groups. You don't see them like all hanging all. I mean, rarely when there's a party and something like that or a gathering meeting or something like that. But normally it's broken up into, groups of your tightest homies. And y'all have agendas and whatever you guys want to go and do. You know what I mean? So individuals don't understand the dynamics behind this, but want to act like they do. That's the reason why problems don't get fixed. But that's overall my opinion. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comments. M Shadow, we up.